You ever have one of those brilliant ideas that just gets lost in a fog of confusion? You know that feeling, right? You're stuck in the messy early stages of a project and you just can't seem to find your way out. Well, today, we're going to break down the SNS roadmap. Think of it as a powerful guide designed to lead anyone from that exact chaos to the triumph of a finished creation. This is basically your blueprint for turning messy ideas into real-world impact.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's a great reminder that true innovation isn't born from these neat, perfect plans. What this really tells us is that chaos isn't the enemy we need to avoid. No, it's actually the mandatory and often the most fertile first step on the path to doing something amazing.
So, how do we begin to wrestle with that chaos? Well, it all starts right here, in the very first stage of the roadmap, building a solid foundation, one that's strong enough to handle all the uncertainty that comes with the creative process. We've all been here. I mean, who hasn't? That moment where you've got a spark of something special, but it's just surrounded by confusion, and every single step forward feels totally impossible. The SNS roadmap gets this. It recognizes this isn't a sign you're failing. It's the official starting line for every single creator out there.
And right here at this very first hurdle, you've got a choice to make. You can follow the standard playbook, the traditional well-worn path. Or you can adopt the mindset of what this framework calls an SNS learner, someone who chooses to innovate by focusing first and foremost on actual human needs. This isn't just a different route, it's a completely different way of seeing the world.
Okay, so how do you navigate that chaos with a human-centered focus? The secret weapon here is design thinking. Now, this isn't just some process or a checklist, it's a whole mindset. It's all about developing real empathy for what people need, reframing the problem from their point of view, and then creating solutions that actually matter to them. This is the tool that turns all that frustration into focused, powerful innovation.
But look, a mindset by itself isn't quite enough to build something truly great. To make it practical, to make it repeatable, you need a structure. And that brings us to our second section, forging the framework for excellence that puts that design thinking mindset into practice every single day.
At the very heart of the SNS mindset is what they call the 3P culture. Think of it like a powerful, three-legged stool. First, you've got purpose. That's your North Star, the deep why that guides every single decision you make. Then there's process. That gives you the scaffolding, the reliable steps that keep you from getting lost in the mess. But of course, neither of those work without people, who bring the energy, the collaboration, and the passion that breathe life into the whole thing.
Now, if the 3P culture is the what, the 3C framework is the how. It all kicks off with attitude, having a growth mindset that sees challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities. That attitude then gets channeled through logic, making sure your approach is clear, sound, and strategic. And finally, technique. That's the actual skills, the craft you use to turn that logical plan into a real-world result. And this is how that growth becomes this awesome self-reinforcing cycle. You start by learning the fundamentals. Then you upskill to get even better. You innovate by using those sharp new skills to solve real problems. And finally, you network to share what you've built and learn from others, which of course just makes you want to learn more. See, each stage just powers the next one.
But here's the thing. Real excellence isn't just about what's in your head. That's where spine comes into the picture. It's this super important reminder that to be successful for the long haul, you need balance. Your health, your hobbies, these aren't distractions. They're absolutely essential parts of a creative and resilient life.
Okay, so with a strong foundation and a balanced mindset locked in, it is time to step into the arena. This next phase is all about turning those powerful ideas and all that framework into real-world action and, tangible impact. This is where the rubber really meets the road. Through this whole creative ecosystem of industry-focused clubs, the roadmap goes way beyond the classroom. It's about connecting learners with actual mentors, with industries, and most importantly, with the real messy problems that are just out there waiting for a solution. And let's be real, in today's world, innovation is basically supercharged by technology. This roadmap doesn't just tack on generative AI as an afterthought. It's a core skill. Through structured teaching, hands-on projects, and these high-pressure hackathons, learners are trained to use AI as a seriously powerful tool to build things at scale. But how do you actually prove all this growth and all these new skills? The answer is certified talents.
Now, these aren't just little certificates you hang on the wall. They are verifiable credentials in key fields that prove a learner isn't just book smart, but truly ready for the industry. It's all about showing you have tangible, validated skills.
All right, this brings us to the final, culminating stage of the roadmap. This is where all that sustained growth finally transforms into true greatness and achievements that last. Look, greatness doesn't just happen by accident. It's built on a foundation of clear targets. The roadmap uses smart OKR goals to make sure every effort is specific, measurable, and totally relevant. And by adding a layer of gamification, the whole journey becomes way more engaging. It turns the process of achievement into a motivating game that you actually want to win.
And this might be the most important idea in the entire roadmap. Excellence isn't some finish line you cross and then you're done. It's a continuous practice. It is the commitment to just showing up every day, refining your process, and constantly pushing the boundaries through focused effort and innovation. So what's the ultimate goal of this whole system? I mean, what's the grand, inspiring mission that all this hard work, this mindset, and this framework is actually building towards? 1,000. That's the number. Not 1,000 projects or ideas, but 1,000 AI startups. It's a pretty staggering figure, right? It represents the absolute peak of what this roadmap is designed to create.
And this isn't just some vague dream. It's a concrete 10-year mission. The ultimate goal is to fundamentally change the game for education, to turn students into founders, and their classrooms into the next generation of startup incubators.
An ambition this huge requires an incredibly powerful belief system to keep it going. And that's the growth mindset. It's the core philosophy where failures are simply lessons and challenges just become opportunities. This is the belief that makes a goal like 1,000 startups feel not just possible, but genuinely achievable.
So let's bring it all home. This is the final transformation, the point where this entire vision snaps into focus and becomes a clear and achievable reality.
And that is the ultimate formula this roadmap offers. It's this powerful one-two punch. It combines the human-centered logic of design thinking with the exponential power of AI for scale. When you put those two forces together, a mission to create 1,000 startups stops being some wild dream and becomes a tangible, achievable plan.
And that brings us to the end. The SNS roadmap is a powerful blueprint for turning chaos into creation. So the final question isn't about the roadmap anymore. It's about you. What chaos will you turn into creation?